In March of 2003, Misty Marie Saens went missing from Las Vegas. Part of her body was eventually recovered. Her torso was found in black plastic bags of State Route 159. Misty was only 25 years old. 5 months later, Jodi Brewer also went missing from Las Vegas. Unable to pay for her next semester of beauty school, Jodi became a sex worker to help with her tuition. One day, she got into a white car with California tags, and then she too disappeared. Jodi's torso was found wrapped up in a tarp in San Bernardino, a 4-hour drive away. Jodi was only 19 years old. In May 2005, Lindsay Marie Harris disappeared. She was an upscale sex worker who always checked in with her boyfriend before and after jobs. When Lindsay disappeared from Vegas, her Mercedes was found abandoned in a parking lot. 2 weeks later, her dismembered legs were found in Illinois. The rest of her remains have not been found. Lindsay was only 21. Jessie Foster was also 21 years old when she left her home in Canada and settled in Las Vegas. Her boyfriend reported her missing on April 3, 2006, and she hasn't been seen since. Jessie's family believes it's possible that she has been a victim of sex trafficking. Others believe that she may be dead. What connects these 4 women? The similar MO suggests they may have been the victim of the same man. 9 years after Jessie Foster disappeared, police believe they may have found that man, but not through a breakthrough in DNA and not through expert deduction. The break came when potential serial killer Neil Falls was shot with his own gun by a woman he was attempting to murder. In 2015, Heather Saul was living with her mother and supporting them both. Sometimes that meant sex work. She later told a reporter, "I mean, the escort stuff is not for me. I was miserable. If all else failed, I would answer the phone." When Neil Falls answered Heather's online ad, it was one of those times. Heather was desperate for money. She told herself, "I got to figure something else out. I can't do this." But she needed the money, so she took the call. Neil Falls used a burner phone to contact Heather. Police now believe he had a habit of buying new ones as he traveled from place to place, which happened often. Now, Heather was smart, and she understood the danger of her job. That's why whenever she had a client over, her friend Harley sat on the back porch to make sure nothing went south. But this time, when the client arrived, Heather's dog escaped from the house. Her friend went chasing after the dog, leaving Heather without backup. What followed was so well practiced that Heather knew right away that this had happened before. Neil Falls walked into the house, and as soon as he saw that the two of them were alone, he stuck a loaded gun against her chest.
I opened the door and he put the gun. I opened the door, he put the gun in my chest, and he said, "Live or die." That's the first thing he said. He said, "I'm going to prison for a long time, and it's your choice whether it's for rape or murder." I just knew he was going to kill me. First thing he did was grab my throat, and he wouldn't let me have a bit of air up. He said, "I'm going to call the orders, and you're going to be quiet."
Falls then began choking Heather so hard that she thought she would pass out. She struggled, managing to knock him off her. She could tell no matter what she did, her attacker planned to murder her, so she began screaming. She later told a reporter, "I just said if he was going to shoot me, he would have shot me, so I'm fighting him." The instinct to fight back saved her life. When Heather reached for a small rake that was in her kitchen, Neil lunged to grab it from her hand, leaving his gun laying on the table. Heather grabbed it, aimed backwards over her head, and pulled the trigger.
I went like that. It just shot, and I seen it. I was like, either he hasn't shot me yet, but either he's going to kill me because he's not letting me breathe at all. And I just knew he was going to kill me.
When Neil slumped to the floor, Heather ran out her door and to a neighbor who called 911.
There's a lady in the alley here. She's saying that some guy tried to rape her, and she had to defend herself, and she shot him. She's in the kitchen. He pulled a gun on her. She's got cuts and stuff all over.
Is she bleeding from anywhere?
She looks like she has maybe some marks around her neck, and she does have a little bit of blood on, like scratches on her fingers, and there are some blood on her. So he set the gun down and I wrestled. I grabbed it and I shot him.
Was she able to injure him in any way?
Yes, she shot him. She says he's on the kitchen floor, in her kitchen floor.
Oh.
If police had any doubt about Falls' intentions, that was cleared up when they arrived at the crime scene. Falls had 4 sets of handcuffs in his pocket. And when police searched his car, they found, among other things, a shovel, multiple axes, a container of bleach, trash bags, a machete, packing tape, and a Rubbermaid tub big enough to hide a body inside. All of this added up to one thing: a serial killer's kill kit. Heather went to the hospital where she was diagnosed with a broken back and a dislocated shoulder. When she got home, police had photographed the scene and removed all the evidence, but the blood was left behind. Heather had to clean it up herself. It took police less than 24 hours to decide that Heather Saul wouldn't be charged. The kill kit and her injuries clearly indicated self-defense. It was obvious that if Heather hadn't fought back, she would have died. It's hard to determine who exactly Neil Falls was and who he had harmed before. Everything about the encounter indicated that he was well practiced and had most likely killed in the past. A post-it note was found in his car with the names and phone numbers of 6 more women, all sex workers that Neil had found online. When police began to look into Falls' past, they discovered that he had lived in several areas where women had turned up dead and dismembered. This included the 4 women from Las Vegas we mentioned at the beginning of the video, as well as 6 women from Ohio who were killed in the same manner. Neil Falls was a drifter. He drove frequently from state to state, picking up new cell phones and addresses. Police sent his DNA profile across the country in hopes to solve more cold cases. So far, there have been strong links, but no solid evidence. Nevertheless, police still believe that when Heather Saul defeated her attacker, she also took down a serial killer. To this day, Heather's injuries still cause her pain. In spite of the barrage of media attention at the time of the attacks, she had steadfastly resisted being in the spotlight, and since 2016 has more or less faded from view. Wherever you are, Heather Saul, you're a badass. There seems to be no doubt that in taking down Neil Falls, you saved the lives of all of his future victims, including perhaps those 6 women on the post-it note. Thanks for watching Beyond Crime. To support more true crime content, please like, comment, and subscribe. The cases of Misty Marie Saens, Jodi Brewer, Lindsay Marie Harris, and Jesse Foster are still open. If you have any information that you think would help, please contact the authorities.